Hey, yo, what's good with it, y'all? It's your boy, Mistah Wilson. And you are now tuned in to WilsonBlock 100 Radio, son.
I can't waste my days and nights at all, just doing the same old thing. People always wonder why I'm always gone out chasing my dream. 'Cause I got one life to live, only got one life, one life. Like only got one life to live, only got one life, one life. Like only got one life to live. Only got one life, one life. I only got one life to live. Only got one life, one life. Can't waste my days and nights at all, just doing the same thing. People always wonder why I'm always going out doing my thing. 'Cause I got one life to live. Only got one life.
It's either misery or victory. Bitterly we need you well. So it's like we lock and change. History repeats itself. So I'm like a visionary. Use words like a dictionary. Spread the news to every time Dick and Harry. My repertoire be Marcus Garvey. Let's spark the army before they start the bombing. They got the coffins, they just need the carcass. Obama, Trump trying to impeach the office. Pelican brief, it's only grief they offer. They take your homes to keep them off the market. Below the radar, keeping off the target. Black lives dropping and knocking off the target. We say we needin' more, they say your nigga stop it. Because 40 acres and the mules food stamps in a project.
People always wonder why I'm always going out chasing my dream. 'Cause I got one life to live, only got one life, one life. Like only got one life to live, only got one life, one life. Like only got one life to live, only got one life, one life. Only got one life to live, only got one life, one life.
Hey, yo, what's good with it, y'all? It's your boy, Mistah Wilson. You are now tuned in to WilsonBlock 100 Radio. And I'd like to welcome you back to WilsonBlock Wednesdays. It's March 1st, 2017. This is episode 2 of Volume 1. And like I said, we wrapping up, that winter 2016 season. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Pasadena music is alive and well, as always. You know what I mean? And we got some new music to be bringing you. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to, Pasadena rapper KStone. You know what I mean? Just dropped a new music video, Life's a Gamble. You know what I'm saying? Featuring your boy, out the Dena's own, Major James. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and check that out on the Facebook. It's on the Pasadena music scene. Should be up on the YouTube, if not now, soon. You know what I mean? Shout out to Cali Slim, you know what I mean, on the cameo. You know what I mean? I like, that, I just really want to give a shout out to KStone for, really just, making it happen. You know what I'm saying? He's coming with the EP, you know what I mean? And I think the music video was a good demonstration of, Dena artists working together, you know what I'm saying, to, accomplish the common goals. So, big shout out to y'all. The homegirl Ryane Mooves got a, new video out. You know what I'm saying? It's called Find a Way Remix. You know what I mean? Go ahead and check that out. It's hot. She's definitely been coming a long way with her music. And, I really just, want to acknowledge her for her originality. You know what I'm saying? And, her development and her growth. You know what I mean? She getting there. You know what I mean? So, much love to her. And, just keep up the good work. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, we're gonna get into some quick drops. You know what I'm saying? It's WilsonBlock 100 Radio, WilsonBlock Wednesdays, son. There's a lot going on the scene. And, thanks for tuning in. We're gonna, plug y'all in. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that. You know what I mean? Without further ado, we're gonna get into it. Check it out.
You're listening to the WilsonBlock 100 Radio, where Pasadena music lives. Check it out.
What up? It's your boy Chuck Dollars. You listening to WilsonBlock 100 Radio, man. Keep it 100 live and tune. You fig?
Yo, what's good? Protocon in the house, 626 representing right here for the WilsonBlock 100. Keeping it all the way with my boy Bing Bing. It's good.
Taking risk after risk in this life, cause I want it all. Every day it's a scandal. to handle. Too much. Yeah, it's real, man, it's real in the field, man. Life's a gamble. Life's a gamble. I just want it all. I just want this ball. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's the life, it's bad in these trenches, huh? Police bids, exit charges when we running, huh? First case was the burner, then the dope case. It's better than me, stoned to the death for me. I'm taking risks, I guess it's just a whole gimme. Home invasion be the lick if you doing it right. It's mandatory 20 years if you move a body. It's the life you better live it if you talk about it. My niggas serving with the cater when we pulling up. Rapid fire, it's business in our homie trunk. Sound muffled so it's easy when we dribble off. The sound of fire have you clutching with your hands up. My golden days part ways, but it's coming back. I'm off the scale, heavy metal got me tipping over. 160 soaking wet, every ounce of soldier. Life's a gamble on this side, Brody, I'm taking over.
Taking risk after risk in this life, cause I want it all. Every day it's a scandal. Sometimes it's too much to handle. Too much. Yeah, it's real, man, it's real in the field, man. Life's a gamble. Life's a gamble. I just want it all. I just want this ball. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Life's a gamble, gotta shake it, gotta roll the dice. Without pain, you ain't living, you ain't seen life. It's hard to tell, huh? Who will slide with you? You ain't real unless you win it and you win the field. Niggas drilling, huh? But they ain't got the skill. I'm from a cloth day one, niggas trained to kill. Told the homie hit the dome, niggas show your worth. We on the mission 10 toes when we put in work. No mask, double back, nigga hit them all. Life's a gamble, stay afloat, hella niggas drowning. All the deep in the sharks and they going bananas. Smelling blood and all on fascinated. I tell you, I ain't living right. This border geeky on stones, it'll save my life. Trying to gamble, I'll fuck right and lose it twice. Trying to gamble, fuck right and lose it
twice.
Taking
risk after risk in this life, cause I want it all. Every day it's a scandal. Sometimes it's too much to handle. Too much. Yeah, it's real, man, it's real in the field, man. Life's a gamble. Life's a gamble. I just want it all. I just want this ball. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yo, how is it that I'm ill but you making me sick? And you think you really smooth but I'm slicker than Rick. You got nothing to prove but you playing these tricks. It's like you're hard-headed when your dome is made out of bricks. Now when I first met you was down and low, and I let you move in cause you had nowhere to go. Your furniture looked like it was lost and then found. Even your clothes look like a bunch of hand-me-downs. Before you started talking just so that nothing comes before me, so let me finish what I'm saying before you interrupt my story. I didn't want the drama, you're not Denzi, I'm not Glory, and I thought we were the same, like you were Brian and I'm Kobe. Yeah, I let you hit the ball with your baseball bat, and I fed it to you well cause you was milking my cat. The truth is your home run was more like a shortstop. I overlooked your little man and still called you Big Papa, but it was okay because you're very astute, and I didn't mind the drama cause I thought that you were kinda cute. You took me to your family saying that we were together, then turned around and said this really ain't forever. What? Why you caught my heart from the evening? Kiss my cheek, moved in, you confused things. Should I just sit out or come harder? Help me find my way, ha ha. Why you caught my heart from the evening? Kiss my cheek, moved in, you confused things. Should we just sit out or come harder? Help me find my way.
You are now tuned in to WilsonBlock 100 Radio, son.
Let me talk to you for a second.
S-Class Productions.
It's a lopsided playing field. But understand this.
Oceans are deep, fatigue set, hoping for sleep. I got a date set with destiny, hoping we meet. Seems like the Grim Reaper's getting closer to me. I try to embrace the world with the notion of peace, but the truth is, war makes the rich earn more. Focused on the bottom line so that we stay poor. They wanna see sunrise like an East Bay shore, and the minds of the wicked try to teach they law. I don't need no envy, I got Hebrew in me. Yo, this Nissan is fine, I don't need no Bentley. I'm trying to reshape my mind, but why is she so tempting? You can rebirth a lie if the truth ain't in me. Let my mind touch the sky just to hear my father, and I'm ready for the slaughter to protect my daughters. Race is getting out of order, make them drink Flint water. It's up to you to make the call, it only costs you a quarter.
The feeling inside of me, Lord, I just wanna let it show.
crossroads, where do we go? Life can be cold, show me how to weather the snow. When pressure implodes, everything in questions exposed. The oppression of my ancestors fresh in my bones.
And the truth is, the fabric of our history's fabricated. The truth is exaggerated, everything's complicated. Tears on eyelashes as we try to reestablish our position in this world, in a system that is fascist. The antidote is Maya Angelou. Her angelic quotes with her hands she wrote and spoke, enough to give us hope. It's relevant that this false history's evidence holds precedence, yet ignored by every president. Post a threat, I ain't the type to run. I will resort to the guns to protect my sons. Blinded by pride and pain holds true in my eyes. If evil lives on, tell me why the good souls
the feeling inside of me, Lord, I just wanna let it show. Lord, life has been breaking me down. I'm feeling low. Tears have been blinding me, Lord, but I'm not letting go. Where is life taking me now?
Yes, sir. WilsonBlock Wednesdays. It's your boy, Mistah Wilson. And we got Too High on the Block. You know what I'm saying? Was good with it.
You already know. Right up here in my hood, Pasadena. East side of it right over here.
You already know, man. Honored to have you here.
Had to pull up at McDonald's Park. So I've been kicking it. Stopped by, said what's good.
You already know. This is actually where we met initially. You know what I'm saying? We were slapping bones. You know what I mean?
This is the neighborhood, man. Grandma lives right around the corner. Cousins live down the street. It's all family around here. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Now tell him I really be on Wilson though. You know what I mean? I really be over here though.
Yeah, you in a way, you an East Side native, man. You been ever since I knew you, been on mentor and shit. You know what I mean? All over the place.
Right.
You know.
You know, we kept it in the heaven, bungalow heaven. You know what I'm saying?
You already know.
So yeah, man. You know, we got you on WilsonBlock Wednesdays. You know what I mean? We finally got the weekly show going, and you know what I mean? We just had to bring you on. You know what I'm saying? In time to just to bring you in the mix. You know what I mean? Go ahead and tell the people what's happening. You know what I mean?
Well, I got a real good interview coming out next week.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be real in-depth. I think everybody in this whole world should give it a listen. Hip-hop fans or not, Too High fans or not. You know what I mean? Get down, listen to some knowledge. Enjoy yourself because we on a mission. We on a movement. This ain't just some, boo-boo kachoo rapping fucking mixtape shit. We doing a little bigger than that.
Real talk.
You know what I mean? Without the fucking sprinkles of a commercial. Major fucking commercial ass rap. You know what I mean? We doing good out here though. We doing good out here. But other than that, I mean, there's big things coming. April's coming. There's another Armenian genocide march coming up. So we're definitely gonna campaign.
Absolutely.
So we just getting down, man. The album's been doing its thing since it dropped. All I see is the stats keep rising.
Wow.
Shit. I'm looking at the list. Fucking Hong Kong and Spain competing against each other for the number 2 spot. You know what I mean?
Shit, when United States ain't your top.
Well, United States is always the top.
Right.
United States is always number 1, but number 2 is where the international countries come into play, and it's always a competition between Hong Kong and Spain right now.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah. So
those are 2 complete different cultures, man. Completely different parts of the world. You know what I mean?
Completely.
So like even for themselves, that's international even between themselves. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I want to do. I mean, I see a lot of feedback, all of it's positive, but I'm seeing a lot of static coming from Europe, some from Asia, even South America, a little bit of Africa.
Right.
I mean, obviously, majority of Africa ain't even got internet. So, it's you know what I mean? It's just the truth, And there's parts of South America that don't either. And I mean, even Asia too, but I'm surprised to see even the small countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, they bumping that Too High, man.
Right. No doubt.
I'm proud to see it, man.
Right. All right. So real quick, go ahead and just bring us up to speed on just the full body of work. You know what I'm saying? From the debut album to the latest album.
Well, I got out of high school, and as soon as I
what year we talking?
We talking 2007 is when I graduated.
No doubt. Dude, 007.
And I had I was hustling, grinding, and I also had a job working at an architect firm.
Oh,
so
really?
yeah. So I was, I put together my little savings, my nest egg, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I decided to dump it in my first stack of CDs, you know what I mean?
Doubt.
And jewel case, none of that bullshit. I said I want a plastic wrap barcode album, so I went ahead and got it. back then they were more expensive.
No doubt.
You know? So we came out with that. It was doing its thing on the internet. It was blowing up too.
Right.
One of the best since this latest album. One of the best results I've seen since I dropped it. You know, like as far as people digging it, picking it up, and it was just this was like MySpace days too. You know what I mean? It was all picking up.
Shit, I remember. Excuse me. I even remember a time where, you know, they was actually selling out in the local record shops. You know what I'm saying? Your Canterbury's, your Pooh Bahs.
Exactly. There was more of those back then. So
Right.
it was easier to do. Now the only type of shops you see
Had Penny Lane across from PCC.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Now the only type of shops you see remotely close to that are selling purely vinyl. You know,
Right.
Or like jewel cases of like, you know, 70s rock bands and shit.
Right,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
So you know, it's kind of tougher now. You know,
Right.
there's a couple shops that got it. I'm tattoo shops, you know, that I'm cool with. I got it in there, but I mean, mainly you're gonna find these things at shows, online, people doing little package deals and things like that.
Right.
But moving on from that,
Yeah.
it was that was 2007, and in 2009,
What was the name of that album?
the first one was A Little Past High.
Okay.
And I dropped that. We were doing shows with Truth and you know the Rose family was involved.
Rose fam, shout out.
Yep. That's around the time I was still at PCC at the time, and I met Cash Flow.
And real quick, not to go too much off course, but please explain the Rose fam. I got to put this for the record for other Dina cats that swear they Dina, you know what I mean, and no disrespect, but I really want cats to know, you know what I'm saying, the legacy of the Rose fam.
Well, basically, take that. So basically, I went ahead and created the Rose family by gathering a little arsenal of troops, which was like was my boy Bones was in high school with
Bones,
me.
shout out.
You know, I had him in it. Truth Serum. He went to high school with me too.
He was on the Welcome to Pasadena anthem.
Yes, he was. Yep. And then that was like the original, along with Chaotic, who was my boy Lazy. That's what they know him as on the streets, and he's actually a neighbor. You know, low key smart, but he's a smart cat. You know, so he had the rhymes, and we used to have little rap battles on the internet forum back in those days. You know, and I was like, that was fresh. Like this was like just a little after that whole little AOL chatting shit.
Right. So this was even before 07. This was like 04. 05.
Oh yeah. The whole Rose fam happened before. You know, it was because of that. After doing a bunch of shows with Rose fam and rapping on mixtape stuff, that you know, but my boy Daryl Lindrum, you know, shout out to him, and he kind of separated the two and said, you know, you should be going solo. You should, because you seem like the individual that's taking it the most serious, and like you're the head of this, and they're your shoulders, and it's cool. We got some bangers. It's awesome to have that group, but at times they tend to be holding you back a little bit.
Right.
So he said, pursue more establishing your individual character.
And then Bones was still at an early stage.
He was he was still at an early stage, and he was kind of on and off. You know what I mean? I get him on a few songs, but he was always down with the fam. He was part of the camp, you know, period. Yeah, we had mixtape tracks, but you didn't catch him on the album until back to high school.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
So yeah.
That's my crew.
My crew, exactly. But we had made a good few songs prior to that mixtape stuff. You know,
so you actually made a feature on his Raw Material mixtape, right?
Yes.
His debut mixtape. Come on, tell me I don't know. You know I know.
Yeah. Straight up. He came through with a track, and I said, man, of course I'm a blessing, man.
No doubt.
You the homie. You part of the fam. You know?
Right. Thank you.
So, you know, and then of course, he moved to Victorville. So, and that obviously had to, you know, separate things a little bit.
Right.
You know, I mean, heart's still there, but shit, physical body ain't. You know what I mean?
You know, Bones always got love. You know,
all
the Wilson Block holding it down for him. You know what I mean? We still waiting for him. You know what I mean?
All day, man. All day.
No doubt, man. So, okay. So, you know, real quick, fast forward, you know, back to the second album.
Yeah. So, between 2007 and 2009 is when I dropped The Highway.
Right.
And I was getting in trouble, man. I was like, it was 2009 was probably one of the worst years. 2008, should I say. It was like, those were like the two worst years of my life as far as getting caught up. It was almost like I was just doing it as a living, you know.
Wow.
But except it was emptying my pockets out.
Wow.
But I was getting caught up left and right, different you know, parts of the city, man, just getting busted, fucking. And by the time, which of course helped with building the material, I ain't gonna lie, you know, it's got stories for days with all the little trials and tribulations I ran into.
Right.
But when The Highway came out, and I made that with Mason David Levy, who was the same producer
MDL?
from MDL,
Yeah.
yep, same producer from A Little Past High. You know, we dropped that one, and that's when I introduced on that album Soldier 100, who I met in the same classroom as with Cashflow and PCC.
Oh damn! Shout out Cashflow too, by the way.
Straight up,
Soldier
straight up.
100. You know what I mean?
Oh man, Cashflow got me on so many shows, different type of shows.
Right.
You know, with opening up for Sugar Free, Too Short.
Wow.
You know, kicking it with Bishop Don Juan and getting up on the smoking tours and
You actually had a cold little feature too.
We did, and that one ended up on shit, man. One of those songs didn't make it, but they Take It Up the Notch. Take It Up a Notch was a song where it was Soldier 100, Cashflow, and me, and that was on The Highway.
Okay.
Unfortunately, because of all the troubles I was getting into at the time, you know, I distributed it digitally, but I didn't particularly have that funds, that nest egg.
Oh, the Too High album. The Highway album.
Yeah, the Highway album, which was the second album.
Yeah.
I didn't have the funds to go ahead and press it at the time.
Right.
So I kept it as a digital, you know, release,
Right.
and I told myself, like, I'll go ahead and press it in the future and whatnot.
Right. But you still did some videos off it, right? You still did some things.
Feel Me, yeah. We did that song Feel Me, which was like my first actual solo music video. And that thing, till this day, is some people's favorite. You know what I mean? It's hella gutter, hella grimy, and like, you know, just some real life rolling around with me.
Right.
You know, some of those journeys, I was on my way to court. Obviously, I couldn't film inside of court. I didn't have, you know, but you know, we were busting missions left and right, and I just had my boy Mike. We called him Black Mike because he was the only black homie that was hanging out with all the Armenians at the time, besides you. You know what I mean?
Right.
This was before you came around. You know, so it was funny, but. We dropped that album, it did its noise, we made that song, and then after that, I was dealing with all the fucking like the repercussions of getting caught up.
Because you didn't come with the third album until about 3 years later.
Yep, straight up. I was going through probation, lost my license, all kinds of bullshit.
And you know what? Actually, now that you mention it, I realized that the Love, Death, and Revolution album, 2012, you know, because you had such a long gap of it, it kind of gave you more time to tell more of a story for this one. You know what I'm saying? So this one was definitely more conceptual.
I was in the state of mind at that time of just, you know, disbelief of everything, and like, you know, I was crushed. That was probably my lowest point in life was between The Highway and Love, Death, and Revolution, because, you know, I mean, imagine you being 21 and not having your license. That's like, you know, fucking just knocking the balls right off you. You know what I mean? As a young man who like had his license prior to that, you know what I mean? Having fun and everything, and you just strip that away from him. You know, I hate having to ask anybody for a favor. You know what I mean? Having to get rides, and thank God I got homies that helped me out. But it was what it was, you know? So by the time I made the Love, Death, and Revolution, I did pour my heart out with songs like Probation and you know, My People, and the title itself, and just the whole project
Where were
itself.
you?
Yeah, which is part of the reason why I put 18 tracks on it. Man.
Right, I was gonna say that one actually has the biggest track list.
Biggest track list
to that date, right?
To
date
of even now. Yeah,
oh wow.
Of even now, I haven't dropped an album bigger than that because I really did have the time to make all that material, kicking it with Daryl and everything. You know?
Right, and he was actually the executive producer of the album.
He was the producer. He was the full blown producer.
Right.
You know, and then I remember I had gotten locked up right when we had finished the album. And I didn't press it up until I got out of jail. And right when I got out of jail, I was working with some cats. Some cats had some extra money, talking about you got to press that shit up. They support you. So we went ahead and pressed up the third album. And, you know, I was happy with it. But there was some things that, of course, looking back, I feel like production could have been perfected a little better. You know what I mean? And of course, you know, we all look. I'm at fault for that too, because I was just like gun ho happy when I got out of jail. I was like, let's press this motherfucker. You know what I mean? I was just so happy about it. Yeah.
But all in all, you still think it was a great project? I think so.
It was. Yeah, it's definitely worth being an album. It's all original material.
Yeah.
Lyrics were very deep, and I mean they all had a real. It was more of the the deeper, darker albums that I have. You know,
Right.
it was that one because it really was the deepest, darkest point in my life.
Right.
You know, and
No doubt.
and I was working on that. I was working on picking myself up and literally climbing out the trenches, which was a song on the 4th album.
No doubt.
You know, which
Back to high school.
Back to high school, which came out like I released it about a year after that one.
Uh-huh.
You know, because I was just so adamant about like making new music,
Right.
and even harder music, because basically everything from Love, Death, and Revolution was written prior to me getting locked up. And
Right.
now I wanted to make some stuff after that. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? At least the longest stretch of me being locked up. You know what I
Right.
mean?
So
But-
how did Back to High School? How did you decide to keep that an EP?
Well, because I was working with Jonathan.
John Treble, shout out.
Yeah, my cousin Johnny, and he had came to a point where he was up to par as a producer, and he was knocking the kind of beats that I was very impressed with.
Huh,
And,
right,
you know,
right. I heard him. He's got some fire.
He hit the threshold of being a too high producer. You
Right.
know what I mean? So I was like, all right, cool. So
He reached the bar.
Exactly. So we were in Azusa. He had his own place at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
I would stay there with him, and we would start knocking songs out, you know. But we were really trying to perfect a real tight, clean EP size album, like
Right.
and 9 being like a threshold of an EP.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's still a full EP.
Exactly.
You know, it's worth
exactly.
being. It's worth
9
being,
is a long EP.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. Like if I'm gonna make an EP, I'm
Right.
gonna take it to the end, you know.
Exactly.
But we wanted to. I kind of sped up the process because, as you can see, I dropped something in 2012, and then I released an album in 2013, because I wanted to put something out there faster to people. Like
Right.
if anybody had felt that distance of me not dropping an album,
Right.
you know,
Like just like between the highway and Love, Death, Revolution.
yeah. Let me soak it up with an extra
Right.
9 tracks and give
Right.
you guys some density, you know, of music.
No doubt.
You know,
I just think the whole concept of that album was dope. You know what I mean? Back to high school, just a 9-track little You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wanted to come at it hard, come at it cool, bring a little bit of the old school, some flavor.
Right.
You know, like I felt like Johnny was kind of an in between like MDL style of production, and where D was more of like a, you know, he's on the eclectic,
Exactly.
instrumental orchestrated
Right,
style. You know what I mean?
right,
and,
right.
and Johnny kind of complimented both angles of it. You know, and he delivered what I wanted at the time was like something a little more on the traditional 2 high basses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I felt like Love, Death, and Revolution, I was going kind of completely out of my box at that time.
Right.
It was different, you know.
Right.
But basically we dropped that one, and that had good reviews. It was bringing my fan base back, you know, and new followers were coming.
Right.
So-
And then, you know, you got to tell me how you connected with Major James on that. Because, see, you know, that was a link that when I saw that, I'm like, damn, he made that happen? You know what I'm saying? I was just really impressed by that. You know what I mean? I was really impressed by seeing that.
Well, as you know, and if you listen to any of my music or just know me in general, I am a firm believer in God.
No doubt.
And I do believe in that divine, universal blueprint that lines you up
Right.
with certain things. And it
Right.
just so happened that the apartment that Johnny was living in, and we were on the 2nd floor, Major James lived right underneath us. And
Right.
he would come out, have a cigarette or a
Come
blunt.
over there on Barranca.
On Barranca. The apartments on
You
Barranca.
already know.
You know, in between Baseline and Foothill.
Right.
You know, Costa, whatever they change. Route 66. The traditional, the old school.
Right.
The old school.
Right, Route 66.
Yep.
Exactly. The Chase Bank on the corner.
Exactly. So he was downstairs smoking, you know, and obviously we were too. So and Johnny was knocking beats, and I'd be spitting and this and that, and you know, we come out and smoke, we catch each other, we just made that interaction.
Really?
know?
So hold on. So let me ask you. You guys didn't even know you guys were like Dina artists at first.
No.
You didn't even know he was an artist at all, right?
At all.
Wow.
I never caught him, you know, singing, but then he mentioned it, you know, and,
Right.
and mind you, I mean, everybody. There's a lot of people I've met that say they do stuff, and
Right.
whatnot, and you know, they do it because it makes them feel good, but they're not actually
Doers of this.
doers of it. Established artists, you know what I
Right.
mean? So
You know, Major James definitely. I'd say he's
is,
established.
Man.
You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
He's got some hot features. He's
Absolutely.
got a resume, you know.
And I'm actually like a genuine fan of him. Like he makes like great music. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's why he blew me away when I heard him, you know, singing. And then and Jonathan was showing me some of his material. and music video appearances and things like that. So I said, for sure, man, we got to get this guy on the track.
No doubt.
And so we got him on 2 of them on the album. You know what I mean? I had him singing on 2 songs. We got him on Climbing Out the Trenches.
Yeah, the hit.
Which is like the hit of the album, you know, and one of my favorites on that one. And then the Curves Like a Coast with that Big Daddy Kane sexual West Coast banger. You know what I mean? I got a lot of people who say that's their favorite song.
Right.
You know? So I like the fact that different people got different favorite songs. It ain't just one,
Right.
you know?
Exactly.
It's the way it's got to be.
Well, that's like, you know, when on A Little Past High, you know, I got my favorites. That wasn't everybody's favorite. But, you know, and the ones that I heard, like Every City I Go, Every City I See, you know, that was one of the first ones that really, like, made me identify with Too High. Like, okay, that's Too High that made that song. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that, man. You know, it's like, and everybody has a different one. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, even some of my mixtape songs that, like, you know, cats won't even hear of unless they go digging through the archives to try to find them.
Exactly.
But, like, for other people, that was the reason how they know Too High. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just the way it is. And I'm sure off this 5th one, because I know I got brand new, at least a couple thousand new fans just off this new album since it released. And I'm sure they all got their favorite song. You know?
No doubt. And then, you know, real quick, I want to touch on the Armenian MC Cypher. You know what I'm saying? You know, they finally, that was like, 2014, right? That they actually brought you on?
Well, 2014 was when they were holding a contest for it.
Okay.
And you know, this was already I believe it was the 3rd year they were doing it.
Okay.
And I was like, man, you know, if they're going to do a contest for it, and I still haven't gotten an email, a phone call, a direct message or something on the matter yet at this point, I said, I'll go ahead and submit something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, an arsenal of I don't know, 25 of the people got picked to come to a little venue that they were throwing where they were going to announce the winner, you know, and have like the top 2 go at it. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, you know, I explained some of this, I believe, in that interview.
Yeah.
But long story short was that's also where I met Most Keys. And,
no doubt.
And
shout out Most Keys.
You know, and when we did that, they picked 2 other people as the winners.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, no, I take it back. They already had the 2nd place winner. But they were going to add an extra MC, and they wanted 2 people, like the 3rd and 2nd place, to go at it so that they can have a place on it.
Right.
And they both had an equal crowd, so both of them got to be on it. So there was like three people picked out of that little contest. And, you know, the homie Blackjack, walked up to me, and, you know, he was surprised that I even submitted something, you know, but he went ahead and he was like, man, he handed me the mic. He said, go ahead and do your thing. And I went over there, rocked the show. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of people there. I had Johnny with me, Mustafa's with me. They had a duffel bag full of the Back to High School pressed up.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I went ahead and passed it out to people. You know what I mean? And
that's what you're supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do. and if I can remember, I'm pretty sure I was the only one with like a plastic wrap jewel case handing them out to people, you know?
See, that's the stuff that don't come up in the stat sheet. You know what I mean?
It's the best business card, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But, you know, I love that tangible nostalgia of having a jewel case, you know what I mean? Because that's how I used to buy them, you know?
Exactly.
So we went ahead and handed it to people, and whenever they released the 2014, and I wasn't on it, but 2015 came around the corner. They didn't do a contest for it, but like months prior, they had emailed me and actually Blackjack called me. He had personally called me and told me, "Hey man, we'd be honored if you come and jump on the 2015." I said, "Cool."
You know, shout out Blackjack. We appreciate you for that here in Pasadena, man.
All day, man. All day. He's the homie, man, and he's been around for a minute. You know what I mean? He's been rapping for shit like I feel like a decade prior to me starting to rap.
Doubt.
He's
no
OG
doubt.
cat, you know.
Much reverence.
We were actually real happy when we met each other because that was the first time we were formally introduced to each other, and we had both heard of each other and listened to each other's music. And
Thank you.
It was like an honor from both angles, which just was positive. It felt good.
You. Absolutely.
So, he's always cool with me.
Right.
But he went ahead and called me, and we set that all up, dropped the verse, got on the Armenian MC Cypher, and shit, man, till this day, and it was a perfect timing because that was the 100-year and memorial since the Armenian genocide, 1915 to 2015. Wow. So it just made that extra explosion. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It was a banger, man. We dropped that one, and it made a lot of noise. That was the biggest year of an Armenian genocide march. So like I was walking on the streets, people were like, catching me left and right. You know what I mean? So it was all cool, man. That actually kicked up the whole fan base even more, solidified it. You know? And shit, that just juiced the whole little vibe that got Most Keys involved for us to like sit down, nestle in, and fucking really get down on that 5th album, which is my proudest piece of work thus far.
No doubt. The Conference of the Council. Yeah. So we're going to talk more about that in the upcoming interview with Too High and Most Keys. We actually get to sit down and talk with the artist and the producer together. You know what I mean? And that's a great interview. It's actually one of, best interviews I ever did. So, stay tuned for that. You know what I mean? And, like Too High, man, it's always an honor to have you on the block. You know what I mean? I really, past few years, man, it ain't been easy catching up. Life is, got us in our lanes, you know what I'm saying?
We grown men, man. We ain't lazy, you know, and being a man of many hats is what you got to do out here. If you want to live in LA and you want to keep your head above ground, you got to do more than just have a job. Exactly. You got to do more than just trying to do, some school or some activity, something, some sort of contribution. If you ain't doing it, you got to have
streams.
Yeah.
Like you got to, like they say, like you got to have a job, a part-time job, selling catfish dinners on the side, and then another hustle that we ain't gonna speak of.
All kinds of things. You got to do all kinds of things out here just to make it happen. And when you live in a big-ass jungle like LA, it ends up turning into a real great spider web of connections and networking. You know what I mean? I love it. I love it, man. It's made me who I am. I don't take back any of my actions,
No doubt.
It's like if I did something wrong, I learned from it, didn't do it again, but all of it happened for a reason.
No doubt. All right, Too High, man. We, appreciate you for coming through.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? WilsonBlock Wednesdays. exclusive.
You're the man.
Thank you. You heard it first, man. WilsonBlock 100 Radio, son.
Waking up, grinding, being on time and money in mind. This is big boy rhyming, nickel and diamond. Couldn't get a diamond, so I cut it off while I'm living my prime in. This is my profession, a pastime turned into obsession, recording my confession, so I painted my perception through your radio interception into your Epson. I'ma feed it to you raw like we lost the rubbers, like I've been through your closet, drawers and cupboards. You married to another, but in love with a lover. I love music cause that's my mind, money your mother. Yeah, I'm born to an odd place, raised with an odd taste, just to figure out everything is God's grace. Yeah, you're dumb enough to dog me with an odd face, hoping they'll open the doors when he get to God's place. Think more killing's gonna kill the killing. Still frustrated like nothing feels fulfilling. That's bitch shit. You're just afraid of revealing that unappealing face of a demon you're concealing. I'm waking up, grinding, being on time and money in mind. This is big boy rhyming, nickel and diamond. Couldn't get a diamond, so I cut it off while I'm living my prime. And I wanna do big things, pull big strings, spread big wings. Yeah, I got big dreams. As long as I'm around and above ground, I won't let you down. I'm here to free you, so go and roll with your people like Moses. Even though it's 2000 and something in the city of roses, better be thinking big, baby boy, when it coming to expose us. Like finding a way that we making a living by lifting the seats of the sofas. It's been a decade since I pounded the King Cobra. Not that I've been sober, just getting older, taking over. If rap was a woman, I drove in a Range Rover, cause God gave me this gift. Why your record label bends you over, so I can't let you tamper with a piece of that. Rhymes cliche, beats are whack. Maybe it would sound better if they leave the track. If the DJ feeding bullshit, then I feed them back. I'm sicker than an illness, you're sicker than a molester. Suck dick for loans while I drink with my investor. I'm a life lesson, you're not even a semester. Hip-hop's my main squeeze, cause I impressed her. Waking up, grinding, being on time and money in mind. This is big boy rhyming, nickel and diamond. Couldn't get a diamond, so I cut it off while I'm living my prime. And I wanna do big things, pull big strings, spread big wings. Yeah, I got big dreams. As long as I'm around and above ground, I won't let you down. What you tryna go get? Bet you the same monkey that'll suck my banana for a check. Shit out like a loogie when I spit quick, tryna grip dollars, but all you do is grip dick. Damn, all these hipsters wonder how I do it when I just do me and drown hoes like fluid. I'm smashing on their fashion, let them eat it and chew it, let them swallow it. looking like they already knew it. When did rap become that Buster's music? Lose the legends and you motherfuckers abused it. Choose to listen to the way I rip mics and use it. Couldn't play me, cause I'm sugar-free cruising this hip-hop. With my lyrical style, smashing high-class bitches like Miracle Mile. Your nursery rhymes are terribly mild. Somebody get this baby Elise like an overgrown American child. Damn. Waking up, grinding, being on time and money in mind. This is big boy rhyming, nickel and diamond. Couldn't get a diamond, so I cut it off while I'm living my prime. And I wanna do big things, pull big strings, spread big wings. Yeah, I got big dreams. As long as I'm around and above ground, I won't let you down. Waking up, 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 waking, just 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 waking up, waking up, grinding, grinding, yeah,
Get a bar, nigga, get a bar, nigga. Won't you run them dollars to me, drop down to them drawers, nigga. I show you a good time, do whatever you want, see? I show you a good time, take all your problems out on me. I've been trill, I've been real, don't trip, nigga, I'm a big girl, I can handle that. Yeah, I can cut your coat, just show me where the magnum's at. I'd rather have a boss, my nigga, and whatever comes after that is just lost, my nigga. You keep fucking with these phony baloney, fugazi ass bitches, and when these chickens run out of money, they turn into snitches. I'm not after your money, I'm just after this music. If you bout getting paper, then bro, we can do this. Don't worry about it, I'm true to this. A vet in the game, not new to this. Everybody wanna know how I do what I does, when all they need to know is I do this shit. So tell me who's the shit? Never heard a bitch like me? I go hard as boys out here, shit on these hoes I see. And by the time I finish this line, I'm gonna be high on my mind, and all you broke bitches gon' need a hit. And by the time I finish this sentence, y'all gon' wish that I did. And for all you bum bitches can eat a dick. And by the time I finish this line, I'm gon' be high on my mind, and all you broke bitches gon' need a hit. And by the time I finish this sentence, y'all gon' wish that I did. And for all you bum bitches can eat a dick. I'm a rock and roller to the 3rd degree. I burn you bitches down like trees, gon' need some surgery. You never heard of me? What the fuck is wrong with you? You better Google me, I'm sick bitch, about to catch the flu. You ain't about this life, can't fuck with loser hoes. I don't be where you be at, so I don't know where losers go. I'm at home with mine, bitch, I'm out here on my grind, and I don't leave my house for free unless I feel like wasting time. Watching me is like watching 80s crack rise. Watching you is like watching 80s crack dies. Your bar's full of baking soda, fiending for your crack high. Bitch, I'm spitting cocaine and cutting all these crack ties. By the time I finish this line, I'm gon' be high on my mind, and all you broke bitches gon' need a hit. And by the time I finish this sentence, y'all gon' wish that I did. And for all you bum bitches can eat a dick. And by the time I finish this line, I'm gon' be high on my mind, and all you broke bitches gon' need a hit. And by the time I finish this sentence, y'all gon' wish that I did. And but all you bum bitches can eat a dick.